We back. And better than ever. Here we are, right here. Lovesick, lyric reaction, lyric breakdown, part number 12. This is the penultimate, big word right there, proud of that one. Penultimate video in this series where I'm going to be breaking down the lyrics to every song from my debut album, Lovesick. And yeah, this one is When You're Sober. So here I am, sober as good as all get out. You know the vibes. Let's jump on into it. Roll that intro.
Sean Childers production.
All right, so you already know we've done this 11 times. Now we're about to make it 12. Got to give a shout out to an album that was influential that I was bumping during this making of this album. And what a better way. You can't tell me a better, like one of the best albums that I've even shown so far than this one right here. This is Kids See Ghosts. This album, man, I have some stories with this one. You know, during this time I was going through my Psychonaut phase, and this album, honestly, this one and the Man of the Moon trilogy just pretty much sums up that entire phase of my life. I noticed a lot about this album. Like, if you look really closely on the album artwork, you can see, like, right here, follow this up, and then right there's like a little volcano there. I didn't realize that. There's a portal in this little ghost guy's mouth. And yeah, there was one day, I was looking at this thing one day, and I swear this was the weirdest shit in the world. This little ghost thing right here, right here. This is gonna make me sound absolutely crazy. Trust me, believe me, I am. But this little ghost guy right here, I was chilling in my room one day, and he was hanging on my wall, and the fucker looked at me like I was sitting there minding my own business, just walking past, and I just see his eyes like dart over at me. I was like, whoa, whoa, what the fuck was that? And that shit really tripped me out, to be honest with you. I completely forgot about that till I even saw that album cover. But yeah, um, crazy story from a crazy guy. There you go. We'll go ahead and jump right past that and jump on into. Let me pull it up on my phone. Stop. We're gonna jump into "When You're Sober" by yours truly.
December 2022, never thought I'd hear from you. Old friend from back in high school asking about me via my homie. Convinces me to come out, giving into the old me, yeah. Nightlife, party animal, but this animal's been tamed. And I know that partying goes hand in hand with the fame. But I gave up the party life, cause I had something to gain. And against my own advice, I head back out. I pull up and within hours he's telling me I need to blow her back out. Visibly drunk and emotionally hysteric. Even if I wanted to, my fucking conscience couldn't bear it. Sober, sober, call me when you're sober, cause I know that you won't remember when it's over, once this night is over. I hope you still think of me when you're sober, sober, call me when you're sober, cause I know that you won't remember when it's over, once this night is over. I know you won't like me when you're sober.
All right, so right away, this song, storyline wise, we left off with Whatever, which is the 11th song on this. And Whatever is pretty much me talking about trying to avoid and making fun of myself for acting in a way that is very much not so like the person that I ever wanted to be. And me realizing that, poking the fun at that, and then kind of going from there, where now we're picking up. This is probably about a month or two. No, it's like 2 weeks, 3 weeks after the events of all that have taken place. And really what I'm doing here is in December of 2022, there was a party that I went to. There was a party that I went to. And at this point, I was kind of in a weird spot where I was beginning to get out of my partying. And a lot of the reason why, to be honest with you, was I was too broke to do it. I moved out on my own. I was living with two buddies of mine at the time, and but I wasn't making a lot. I was making like 2 grand a month, and between my rent, my bills, and all that, I was spending like 1,200 a month in total because we were splitting the $1,200 payment, and I just didn't have a whole lot of spare money because I was buying weed at that point. So that right there was taking up 100, $200 a month for me. Uh, and if I ever wanted to go do anything or I wanted to put any money back for, like at this time I was saving for my recording studio school. So I was trying to get into do that. And like, I just didn't have the money to party like that and to go out like that. So I'd kind of been too broke to go party. And that was just kind of my life at the time. So here I am now, December 2022. I believe I had left a party downtown, which was like a half hour from where I lived. And I had got home. I remember like I got home, I took all my sheets and shit out of the washer. And uh yeah, oh hang on. So I lied. I wasn't moved out at this point. That was 21 that I was moved out. I had moved back home at this point so I could save money for college, is what it was. Because I moved back home so I could enroll in school again. So this would have been later on in my semester then. Either way, that still happened. It was just this is now a year later, where I'd gone through all of this, and I was busting my ass trying to. Now at this point, I was busting my ass trying to get into the music program at my school. I'd already gone through Azimuth. I'd already done a little bit of that, but now I was going through a music program at my college, which was a whole different schooling that I had taken on. And yeah, this was so the 2021 December stuff was when I lived and I was too broke to party. This is kind of getting into that. I don't really have a whole lot for myself. I didn't have a job at this point, so I was riding out all the money that I had saved up. Um, I was focusing on school then because this was right before I started working for Live Nation. And yeah, I didn't have any spare money, so I was trying to save as much as I could. And because of that, partying just kind of took a back seat. I just didn't really do it a whole lot. But I had gone out, long story short, and I got home, taking all my sheets out, put them on my bed, made my bed, and I was about to go to bed, and my buddy texted me and was like, "Hey, um, Riley was the one that texted me, and him and I hadn't talked for a little while at this point, and he goes, "Hey, Danny's here. She wants to see you." I was like, "Who the fuck is Danny?" Because there was a Danny that him and I used to work with, and I was like, "Where are you at that you would be with Danny right now?" Like, because she's like a 30-year-old single mom. I was like, "Where the fuck are you at?" No, it was not her. It was somebody that I went to school with that he had happened to stumble across at a party through a mutual friend. Someone that I knew back in high school that I partied with a couple of times, and then Riley was getting around because Riley's cousin was his roommate. So there's this girl that I've known since I was 9 years old that hits basically is telling Riley to message me and tell me to come over. I'm like, all right, fuck it, whatever. I'll go out. I don't really do that anymore at that time. And I just I just said fuck it, really. I I had kind of strayed away from that and I was like, you know what, F it. Like I've already gone out tonight, I might as well go out again. So that's exactly what I do. He convinced me to come out, giving into the old me. I used to be this nightlife party animal. Like I used to be somebody who was always looking for the next party. I'd go to like at least once a week. I'd be going out and doing something. I'd go downtown to a bar to go out. I'd go out to my friend's house for a house party. I'd just be smoking and drinking at home. Like that was just my life. But I'd kind of tamed that, like I said. Um, and then I was talking about like partying and fame are kind of synonymous. They're kind of closely linked most times. And I kind of am acknowledging that. Like, I understand that the route that I'm choosing, that I was picking, that I was working towards was closely linked, but I given it up. Like, I didn't want to party anymore. I had more on my mind. I wanted to do this music thing. I wanted to grow on this. I wanted to gain something. for myself that was more than just a party. I just wanted something else out of life. And I had put those funds that I would normally put towards partying and going out and having good times and whatnot towards actually doing something productive in my life, which was making music. And, against my own advice, where I'm sitting there, I'm like, the responsible thing would be for you to go ahead and just hang out here, go to bed, tell them if they tell me, give you more of a heads up next time. And against my own advice, I go back up. And this part really kind of frustrated me. Um, I got there and we were all hanging out, having a good time, drinking and whatnot. But my thing is like, I do not, I won't engage in anything when it comes to women at parties who are drunk. That's a very big thing for me. I genuinely fear that. I've seen so many horror stories about dudes that, you have sex and they wake up and regret it the next day. And then, oh, all of a sudden it's a case, or, you know, you do it and they're too drunk and now it's a case. And it's never any allegation that I ever wanted thrown upon me. So I just avoid it altogether. I will not engage in that. That's like part of my code. And, I pull up there and we're partying, we're having a good time. I drink a little bit and, uh, she drank a lot of it. And this was the first time that she had really come out in a little while because she was going through a lot. And I'll get into that here in a minute. But pretty much what ends up happening is her and I are sitting down talking and chatting it up. And the entire time we're talking, behind her is my buddy Riley standing there. And he's just telling me, he's sitting there like, or like, and he's just motioning to me, trying to tell me to fuck her. And I'm like, bro, no, like, that's not me. That's not what I'm doing. That's not what I'm out here trying to do. She is way too drunk. She's visually drunk. She's emotionally hysteric. I guess I'll get into this now. Um, she had got out of a 7-year relationship because the dude fucking cheated on her. And she was just, we had talked and she was like, where have you been? Like, I haven't seen you in forever. And at this point, in the context of when she had seen me, I mean, the last time that she even could have seen me would have been when I was in high school, my junior year, before I went to online school and then dropped out. I had to go through that whole story and tell her, like, you know, uh, I haven't really got a whole lot into this part of my story, but I dropped out of high school. I had kind of about 16, 17 years old, kind of just given up on everything and given up on myself. And it was a really rough time in my life and something that I deeply regret. If you can avoid dropping out of high school, I'd recommend it because it makes your life a hell of a lot harder. It made me a lot. It made it a lot more difficult for me to get to the college that I'm in. Made it a lot more difficult for me to be taken seriously when it comes to jobs. And I would, people say, oh, it's the same thing as a high school degree, as a high school diploma. It is, but it isn't. People look at it a little bit differently, in my experience. So anyway, I catch her up on all that, and then she catches me up on what she's been up to, and that's when the emotional hysteria comes out. And she's super drunk, she's crying, she didn't really know what to do. And I'm just sitting there like the entire time, my buddy's sitting there telling me to fuck her, and I'm just like, bro, even if I wanted to fuck her, I wouldn't be able to live with that. Live with the fact that I did that. Like I felt like if I had gone through with that at all, I would have been taking advantage of her, and that's just not what I'm about. Like I've had plenty of opportunities to do shit like that. At that same group, there was a girl there named Kate who there was one day her and I pulled up to a party and she's drunk as shit and she grabbed my arm, pulled me into a bathroom, and drops her pants so that she can take a piss. And I'm just sitting there like, no, like whatever this is, absolutely not. Like the last thing that I need is a fucking case for something like that. It's just not anything I ever want to have to deal with. Um, it's just not the man that I am or ever want to be or ever have been. But pretty much what I'm saying here is just like, I just couldn't deal with that if that was the case. Then we go into the chorus, which is me talk because like I said, I've known her since I was 9 years old. I'm 24, about to be 25 at the time of making this video. That's 15, almost 16 years that I've known this person. And it was somebody that I always was cool with. We were always really good friends. Not like really good, but we were on and off really good friends. Um, she was there when I got one of my first girlfriends back in like middle school. She gave me a lot of girl advice back when I was younger, when I was struggling with that in like sixth and seventh grade. I was texting her on a fucking like a slide knockoff BlackBerry. Um, but yeah, I've known, long story short, I've known her for a long time. And at the time, like, throughout my life, I've had feelings for her on and off. I always thought she was super cool. I just, my whole thing and the whole reason for making this song was, I just call me when you're sober. Like, I've seen it happen. I used to work at a concert venue. I've seen thousands and thousands and thousands of people, millions of people. Actually, I've literally done the math. I have worked and been around crowds of over 1 million people in total. That's a fuck ton of people. And in seeing that, like, I've seen how people act when they're drunk. I know they say like the truth comes out, all that other shit, but look, my whole deal is like, if you don't want me when you're sober, I'm good. I don't want someone to just want me when they're drunk. And that's kind of what I'm getting at with the song is that I'm like, call me when you're sober. Like, you're probably not gonna remember this when it's over. Like, once this night's over, once your buzz is over, once you wake up in the morning, you're probably not even thinking me. You're probably not gonna remember any of this that happened. And I don't want that. I don't want that for myself. Like, I don't think that you're gonna like me when you're sober. I don't think that you're gonna want me when you're sober. You want me now that you're drunk because I'm here, it's ease of access. I don't want to do that. Like, I want to get to know you. At the time, I wanted something that was more legit, more traditional, I suppose. Um, I didn't want something to come out of a crazy night and then waking up in her bed and being like, "Oh, hey, well, I guess what are we?" Like, that's never been my vibe. So, anyway, we're gonna continue on with the song.
I arrive, already been a hell of a night. Second party of the day, I pull up around midnight. Playing games of Pong, vibing out to some songs. When she sits next to me, asking where it was that I had gone, I catch her up on my past, what I've been doing for the last 6 years. At last, I circle around to my music career and how giving back is music to my ears. Empathizing with any kid once in my shoes, realizing this girl is living in my shoes. We get to talking, and that's when she opens up, and I'm so getting pressured to get her down to fuck. Sober, sober, call me when you're sober, cause I know that you won't remember when it's over, over. Once this night is over, I hope you still think of me when you're sober, sober. Call me when you're sober, cause I know that you won't remember when it's over, over. Once this night is over, I know you won't like me when you're sober.
All right. So, first of all, the fuck at the end of this is so comical to me because it's just so goofy. How it was recorded is just so goofy. Uh, all right, so I hit this part up with I arrive, already been a hell of a night, second party of the day. I pull up around midnight. So this is me going back to what I was talking about earlier, where I left the party and then I got back home and then now she hits me, they hit me up and I'm like, all right, fine, fuck it, I'll go out. Play some beer pong, we're listening to some music and whatnot, and then this is the part where she sits next to me and she starts asking me about my life and I kind of just tell her exactly where I've been, like kind of hit a low, ended up pulling myself out of it. That was when I dropped out. I didn't have my license. I didn't have a job at that point in time, and it was just kind of, I was probably a year or two removed from being told that if I kept up what I was doing, I was gonna probably have a heart attack and die by 25 because of my blood glucose, triglycerides, and something else. I don't remember exactly what it was, but they were all 3 times the normal ranges in which they should be in. And yeah, I was not doing good. Pizza rolls and ice cream was the diet, and I wasn't exercising at all. And so I'm talking about all this stuff, and like she had told me, she's like, I don't remember you at all in high school. Like last time I remember you was middle school, and I told her I was like, well, I was there, just wasn't really doing shit. We didn't really have a lot of classes together either. So, at that point, I'm 22 years old, about probably 6 years ish. And I tell her, like, I kind of go into the story about how I got into music and how physical therapy just wasn't for me, and getting into, the stuff that I talk about in Lovesick and Healing God Knows, where it's like, you know, got my heart broke, kind of turned a new leaf, a new page for myself, and kind of got attached to this idea where with my music career, like my goal is to give back to those people who are in my shoes at some point, that all-time low area, that position where you are just completely helpless and at rock bottom, and you're looking to just go anywhere else. But I mean, the only place you can go is up at that point. And I wanted my music to be something that can reach out and kind of provide that beacon of hope and that hand to help pull people up. Um, I'm realizing now at this point that this girl's kind of in that area. She's struggling with all that. I mean, when your boyfriend of 7 years cheats on you, it's a pretty big blow to the heart. I can't imagine that because I've never had that, never had a relationship that long. But, I'm realizing that she's going through a lot of shit, and we keep talking. And the entire time that we're talking, it's just fucking pissing me off because, like I said, I'm just getting pressured to fuck her. And I don't want to do that. Like, I recognize what my role is for that night. My role at that point is to take care of this girl who's drunk out of her mind and is clearly going through something. And I just wanted to help her with that. I didn't want to fuck her. I didn't want anything else. I just wanted to help her through that because that's kind of in alignment with my goals and what it is that I'm trying to do. So,
The moment's getting heated, telling me how her boyfriend of 7 years went and cheated, and how a hug from me is all she really needed. Starstruck by my gentle touch, all the pain on her mind finally healing. I guess I really am enough. It's got me all in my feelings. Her friends try stealing her away, but she ain't having it, so she starts pushing them away, and I'm kinda having it. Start cuddling on the couch, hands all on my face. She's begging me to stay and keep her company instead of all the misery. And then she passes out in my arms. I dip out the party before I cause any more harm. I've been the rebound too many times, and I'm sick and tired of these false alarms. Sober, sober, call me when you're sober, cause I know that you won't remember when it's over, over. Once this night is over, I hope you still think of me when you're sober, sober. Call me when you're sober, cause I know that you won't remember when it's over, over. Once this night is over, I know you won't like me when you're sober.
all right. Let's see. Back up here. Moment's getting heated. Tell me how her boyfriend of 7 years went and cheated. I already went over that part. Um, so, at this point, she had moved a little bit closer to me. I had moved a little bit closer to her because she started crying. Like, she was sitting there telling me about like how it was a little rough. And the next thing I know, she's just like in tears, like bawling her eyes out. And, I wasn't trying to make a move on her. I just wanted to move a little bit closer. And I just kind of gave her a hug to calm her down because it felt like that was the right thing to do. And, I think that she just really needed someone to be there for her in that moment. And she literally was sitting there like in awe of the fact that I had done that and was just like, wow. And she literally told me that she was like starstruck. Um, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was a big ego boost because I felt good about that. Like, it wasn't even that I wasn't trying to get like ego rub from it, but it did feel good to know that I was able to help her through that, and it felt good to know that you know that someone as attractive as her was just starstruck by me. I guess I never really had that at that point in my life. And I don't know, like, we're sitting there and we're talking, I'm hugging her and just trying to help her through it all. And her friends come by and they're like, "Oh, Danny, come on. Like, let's go and let's go in the other room and do fuck all." And she literally was like, "No. I'm hanging out. I'm in here with him. He like we're just gonna. I'll be in there in a minute, basically." And then at that point, I'm like, looking back on it, I'm like, "Damn, bro, like you really turned your friends away from me. Holy shit." Um, but I don't know. It's like they felt good. Not gonna lie. Um, dog sitting outside my door right now. He's waiting to be let into bed. He's gonna have to wait a little bit, Bubby. Anyway, so we're doing all this, and then like we're obviously cuddling on the couch, whatnot. She's got like like hand on face, like that kind of shit. Um, and she's like, we're sitting there, and then it gets to getting a little bit late, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm probably gonna head out here soon. And she's like, oh, you're gonna leave, like all this other shit. And she's like, hang on, like come back, all this other shit. And I, okay, fine, fuck it, whatever. And I go sit down with her and keep it going, and then she literally just falls asleep on me. And at this point, I'm in such an awkward position because one, I'm not trying to sleep with this girl. Two, just even positioning wise, I was not in a comfortable position to even attempt to fall asleep. Three, I'm like, we're the only two that are awake at this party now. Everyone else has gone to bed. And I'm just like, what the fuck do I do? So I shit you not, I literally get up and just leave. They had already locked the doors to the house. I said, fuck it. I was like, I'll lock one of the doors. I'm not gonna lock the deadbolt. I don't have a key. I get up, I leave her. She doesn't even wake up because she's just drunk and passed out. And I just get up and I leave and I go home. Um, and my biggest thing was like I didn't want to get her attached. I didn't want to get her hopes up with anything. That's why I'm like, before I cause any more harm. And the other thing is I'm also talking about myself because I don't want to get too attached with that. I don't want to sit there and try to fix another girl and end up in the same position that I was in with Ivy or with Claire or with any of them. Like, I'm trying to learn from this. I'm trying to grow from this. And it's like, I've been the rebound so many times. And even to this day, it's like, I'm just sick and tired of the false alarms. I'm sick and tired of people coming after me only whenever they're either getting out of a relation, like just got out of a relationship or trying to get out of a relationship. Like, I'm over that. I personally believe that I deserve better than that. And it sucks because I feel like for a long time, that's all that I've really been seen as. And I don't want that. Um, so yeah, this is really just about kind of venting my frustrations regarding that.
In a funk for the next few days. I felt like we had a moment, also feel that it's too late. Can't be going back to dating already. I gave it up to focus on me, and within 2 weeks, one's all over me. What happened to money over bitches? Is this a true me? What the fuck is going on? I asked my friends. She wants some of you, Sean, but I know right from wrong. And she probably doesn't even know that I was there. When she wakes up in the morning, will she even care? Cause I know that I do, and I care way too fucking much. That's my weakness in life, walking around on an empathy crutch. That's why I even wrote this album, cause at times it's too much. But fuck that, I just gotta know if you thought of me once you made it back home. Why is moving on so much fucking harder with these hoes? Just call me when you're sober if you remember this at all.
All right, so we'll go ahead and jump on in to the final verse. So I say mind in the funk for the next few days. Felt like we had a moment, but also feel that it's too late. Can't be going back to dating already. I gave up to focus on me. So this is kind of when I began to understand a little bit more about the psychology behind the dating game, and I fucking hate it. I fucking hate it so much. Um, so after all this happens, me, someone that has not had a lot of experience with women at this point in my life, even today, um, it shook me up a little bit because I'm a little like I'm just so naturally an empath that I don't know, I just have an empathetic nature. Like I feel for people like this. Genuinely do. And seeing what you were going through was really, really rough. Like what she was going through was rough for me because it just sucks seeing people have to go through something like that, especially someone that you've known for so long. I mean, hell, I rode the bus with this girl. Like, she used to watch me sing fucking Nickelback in the back of the bus, and with two or three other guys that were back there. We used to play this fucking shitty ass online game with me and her and another girl back when I was in elementary school. Like, I remember conversations we used to have about like being scared to go into uh 7th grade and getting our own lockers and shit like that. Like, and because our school system, how it worked was like it used to be K through 5 for elementary school, and then our year in 5th grade they moved it from K through 5 to K through 6. So the next year when we were in 6th grade, we went from being, oh, we're going to middle school, to, oh shit, we're going back to elementary school. So we were like the top dogs again, and it was, we talked about that. Um, I got a lot of history with her. And I felt like that we kind of had a moment, and it was like an intimate moment in a way, and like, but at the same time, I kind of felt like I just walked away from all this shit. Like, after everything that happened on whatever, I kind of sat back and took a look in the mirror and was like, look, I'm the problem here. You got to fix yourself. You got to work on yourself. I gave this shit up to focus on myself. Like, I'm trying to focus on myself, get myself right so that I can welcome something into my life that's worth my time, my effort, my energy, and that I can be, how do I put this? Where I can be properly equipped to be able to, and healed to be able to give that effort and energy back. Ugh, shit. Uh, Give all of that back. Um, so this is kind of where I learned a little bit about the dating game, where it was like, now that I'm sitting here and I'm like, I don't want that, I'm done, I'm pushing this aside. All of a sudden, here's these girls that are interested in me, and I'm like, oh well, lottie fucking die, here we are. And it comes to find out that whenever you're interested, it seems like people aren't interested. Whenever you aren't interested, it seems like people are interested. And it's a fucking exhausting mind fuck of a game, and I hate it. And to be honest with you, it's a lot of why I'm single, because I don't want to play the game. I just don't. I don't get the fucking point of it. If you're interested in someone, just fucking say you're interested in someone. What is so hard about that? And it seems like whenever you say that, people are like, oh, well, now that you're interested in me, I'm not interested in you, even if I was interested in you before. It is such a fucking mind fuck, and I hate it. I hate it so much. But anyway, I given it all up, and like, this is me kind of asking myself these questions of like, what happened to money over bitches? Like, you were gonna go pursue this career, you were gonna go pursue this growth, you're gonna go pursue all of these things, and now here you are back on the same bullshit. Um, and it's kind of like, is this me? Is this really who I am? Like, is this really what we do? And in a way, at the time, yeah, it was. This was who I was growing out of. I was trying to figure out what was going on. I start, I'm sitting there, I'm like, she like me, does she not? Like, what's the deal here? And I call up my buddy Noah, and my buddy helped my other friends I lived with at the time. And I'm asking them, and they're like, "Well, she's interested in you, dude. Come on now, like this is easy." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I get that, but like I know that that's not right. I know that in that scenario, that's not what I should be doing. That's not what I want to be doing. At least my moral compass says otherwise." And I'm sitting there, I'm like, "Bro, like, you gotta remind you, probably don't even know that I'm fucking there." Like, and I've seen this 1,000 times where it's like, you get up and it's, I mean, crazy night, great, whatever. And then you wake up in the morning and it's like, oh, you just go on separate ways. And it's like, oh, great, that was a waste of time. It's a colossal waste of energy. Now I'm emotionally invested in something that doesn't fucking matter. I don't want that. I didn't want that at the time. Because I know how I am. I know who I am at that time. And I know that it would fuck me up. I would care way too much. I would get way too invested in it again. I'm coming off of all this. I'm learning all these patterns. I'm recognizing these cycles. And it's just like, it sucks. And unfortunately, the biggest issue for me at this point in time, I felt, was I have this like empathy crutch, where once I feel empathy towards something, or I feel a certain way, like I feel bad for somebody, naturally I'm like, I want to help them, want to fix them. And when it comes to that in relationships, it gets me in a situation where I'm trying to fix somebody else. And that is literally the root of the problem as to what happened with me, Ivy, and me and Claire. Well, I saw them going through a lot of shit. Empath in me is sitting there like, oh, I want to fix that. I want to help you. I want to do what I can, because that's just how I was raised at the time. And I can't. Like, I can't. I lost myself so many times doing that. And this was kind of me being like, I gotta learn from this. Like, I wrote this fucking album because it is it hurt me so bad, and I needed somewhere for that to go. Like, but at the same time, I'm sitting there wondering, like, was this anything? Did you think of me when you got back home? Did you even remember what was going on? Like, I'm sitting there like, why is moving on so much harder with these hoes? Like, You know, not saying that they are, I guess I kind of am saying they are hoes, but that's neither here nor there. What I'm getting at is, you know, why is this moving on so hard? Like, why is just a one night thing that never even ended in sex and it messing with my brain for days? Like, it sucks. It was ass. I hated it. Um, it was exhausting because like I'm just trying to be a good person and do what I can to help somebody that's in a compromised situation, and I'm the one that's paying the emotional toll for it, even though don't want to be emotionally invested in this, but I just can't help but not. Um, and then I pretty much end it with like, yeah, just call me when you're sober if you remember this at all, because it's like, you know, if you do remember this, I would be at that time I was like I would be interested in pursuing something and getting to know you and moving on to like dates and all that other shit. And then you know, I was just pretty much being like, you know, if you still feel the same the way in the morning, great, but I don't expect that. Like I just can't. I'm learning that maybe it's a bit nihilistic, but I just kind of learned that that's probably not the case. And I don't know. It just kind of left a sour taste in my mouth with a lot of that. And I was just kind of being like, it's kind of pointless to get roped up in all of this. So, but yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it all, the gist of this song. Um, More or less just running over a story of something that had happened to me around this time. And this at the time was kind of like the last go around for me where I was like, ah man, like no, I'm really walking away from this for a while. I'm really gonna go and kind of move towards something else because this is the type of shit I keep getting involved in. And I just can't keep doing that to myself. So yeah, that's when you're sober. That's pretty much the gist of it. Go ahead and drop a like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'm gonna keep doing this one or this whole series. I've got one more planned out. It is going to be Love Myself. That is the last song on the album. So stay tuned for that. Go check it out if you haven't already, and it's out by now whenever you're seeing this. And yeah, I guess I'll catch you in the next one, y'all. Peace out. Take care.
Sober, sober, call me when you're sober, 'cause I know that you won't remember when it's over, 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 once this night is over. I hope you still think of me when you're sober, 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 call me when you're sober, 'cause I know that you won't remember when it's over, 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 once this night is over. I know you won't like me when you're sober.